Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston Station, we are ready for the event.
Copy that. European Space Agency, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call the station for a voice check.
Station, this is Eva. How do you hear me?
And East Adelaide, I hear you loud and clear.
Super. Merci beaucoup, Thomas. On est hyper content de t'avoir avec nous ici à Paris au siège du CNES.
We're very happy to have you with us. And we will begin very quickly, right away with the first question. Hello, Thomas. This is Christian Chapelle for CDC. I'd like to know how did it feel to leave the house, and how do you handle the mission under these conditions? Hello, Christine. Yes, it's a great pleasure to be here. It's my second home. I found friends and habits. Things have changed in the station, but there are also things that are identical. Listen, we've already begun to work. I've spent almost all of my days since Monday with scientific experiments, 2 scientific experiments, thanks to which we've lost no time. We have begun at 100 kilometers per hour, and we're looking forward to what is awaiting us. We're all going to work very hard, and if we do, everything will pass very quickly. Hello, Ms. Castel, radio. Hello, Thomas, can you describe to us the takeoff day, the feeling that you've had as of the moment of takeoff, and maybe a little bit more critical when you went to sleep? Did you have a false alarm, apparently, and you had to put your spacesuit and your helmet on very fast? Can you describe to us about the spirit or the feeling that you had? Will this be a constant menace or threat until you return? Yes, the takeoff gave us incredible sensations. I hadn't done that for 4 years. It's a little bit different than with Soyuz. I felt upon takeoff, but you know, when you talk about strong sensations from a rocket, the acceleration, the vibrations are incredible. It was really a great moment for me. We all had a great big smile. We were all in the capsule. We were serious, of course, but the sensations are are phenomenal. Concerning the alert, concerning the debris, was a false alarm, and the space farm was able to get us to NASA safely. It was a good exercise for us. We had gotten all of our things out to spend a tranquil evening. We had all our clothing and our food. We had taken everything out. We're all ready. But then with a very calm message that told us, well, the Oregon team, you're going to have to be in your seats, put your helmets closed, you just astronaut outfit. Within 40 to 50 minutes, it takes a while, it's rather complicated. We did everything in 19 minutes and 30 seconds. These are things that were not entirely orthodox, but we did everything. And it's a good exercise for us. I don't think it was a danger that threatens us in particular. There were some micro impacts on the station, very small things. Larger debris are in another orbit, which are surveilled. We pay attention to that, especially the European Space Agency takes care to be sure that we're not threatened by larger objects. Everything's in place so that everything will go well. We never have this problem aboard the Space Center or in an inhabited capsule. And this, of course, subject to the gravitation of Earth. Hello, Thomas. This is what is the moment of the mission that gave you a personal moment or an experience that you experienced, that you felt, lived through? Well, there are many moments of this during a mission. Of course, it begins with takeoff, the return. We're not going to be returning right away. I still have 185 days before me. We're not sure exactly what date we'll return. We're going to try to establish a date so that our crew colleagues who are having the breakfast right back behind me are going to be returning. Evidently, there are some very important and very striking moments, incredible moments, some which are plans. For example, the exit from the station. which are particularly intense as opposed to remaining outside. But this just keeps to entertain the station. It enables us to engage in our research, and there's some 232 experiments have been told over a 6-month period. There are a dozen of which are directly, which I've already been one of those, which is directly related to interests. This is the green triangle anniversary. We'll put some little balloons out there to note it. This is a small community. We all have the mission of being on mission every day, and it's a very agreeable feeling. Hello, Thomas. This is Coutier of French Television. When you arrived on the ESS, you've never had as large a population of people. How does this how do you live there with so many people on board? How do you get along? Well, in effect, there are many people here. We are 11 us. It's not overcrowded, really, but nonetheless, there are a fair number of people. It goes along very well. We find that our hosts are perfect. There are only 6 sleeping positions. There's the 7th, which will be coming, a sleeping slot. So that'll give us a chance to sleep, I imagine. But 6 sleeping slots for 11 crew members. They are pretty much everywhere. We take care not to bump into each other. We train for that, of course. Normally, we engage in speleological and undersea training to be sure to respect what is important for people, to allow them their space. But we do have a toilet system on the Russian side and one on the American side. That's only 2 toilets for 11 people for the course of the day. But this will not be a problem. This is the... Hello, Thomas. Have you initiated certain small rituals among yourselves, setting up rules as to how you work together and interact? Yes, we have no advice regarding how we install ourselves. It's been a week now. We don't need too explicit rules because many of the people on this team are veterans. Very few are here for their first mission. We've been here for quite a while. We know that it's important to work under fairly intimate conditions, close conditions. In this small spaces that we ensure that each individual has as we pay attention that the last persons who have arrived, who might, for example, are last of the toilet, we prepare for the toilets for the next person that comes. These are everyday details that we take care of. You don't have to be trained as an astronaut to be able to do that, but it's the normal training that a person would learn in order to share his life with other people. We get along very well. We're constantly joking around. You noticed that there was the anniversary party, which has begun. You can see it behind me. Hello. This is from the agency, the space agency. I'd like to know, with the pandemic, whether your scientific experiments have been affected. Is there something that could help you to protect you against COVID? And if not, what is the experience that will have an impact with you? How will it affect you? COVID. We do not have a scientific schedule or program. Unfortunately, or not, is decided many years in advance to be sent to the station. We have no particular experience concerning the pandemic, but we do have a lot of experience with the immunological system, which protects us against infections and all kinds of microbes and viruses. We also have some interesting experiments regarding the antibacterial, antiviral services, which do not retain viruses and microbes that come into contact. And of course, we have to be able to keep the station always clean. Every Saturday we clean, we disinfect all of the surfaces we touch. These, for example, these blue rails that keep us oriented. And so we have antimicrobial measures that we install, which you can see in a hospital or an airport, in order to be able to prevent the propagation of a pandemic. And this is something that we're spending an important part part of our time to on board here to control for, so we can continue our scientific experiments. You from 39A at Kennedy Space Center. 1900, Michael Collins, of course, used the same one. So it's whether this you feel a little bit of the tradition and the presence of Michael Collins having taken off from the same. I don't know if I'm a pioneer. I feel that I really walk in the paths of my predecessors. This is not the first long-term journey. This is something that has been done by others before there were no telephones. No, I think that evidently we have all learned a lot from the experience. We learned of the death of Michael Collins with a great deal of sadness. I was able to take off from the Russian Baikonur aerodrome or space sport, following the paths of Yuri Gagarin. But we all follow in the paths of our predecessors. We now have to continue. We're the first generation from the 2009 grade promotion that did not live through the original space travel of the first generation. We have a lot of respect for what was done before as we prepare to return to the moon, certainly, but we're looking forward to the future, of course, with the European Space Program and coordination with NASA and other partners. We know that in a few years we're going to be on the surface of the moon, and this is something that we constantly keep in mind as we work. Hello, Thomas. This is from the Francon network. Can you tell us? Hello, Antoine. We are not, we haven't set it firmly in. There are 4 that are programmed for our mission. It depends on the material that comes and with the cargo. We're going to be deploying an entire station. I'm not visiting you, but just giving you an idea of what's on the various sides. To the left and the right, we have the panels. We're going to be installing those. We're going to be able to go about 40 meters away, maybe 50 meters to the left and 40 to the right, so as to fix these panels at a certain nearby distance. We're going to be doing all of that about June or July, but once again, it depends on the arrival of the materials and the equipment through the various space vehicles 21 and 22, which are now well positioned to take off. But if there's a little bit of uncertainty regarding the time frame, we're not sure that the exit will happen. But we're looking forward to the prospects of it. Hello, Thomas. This is from Miramar. Oh, tell me about your visualization of sunrise, or about 16 of them, I believe, that you do within a very narrow period. So the sun in space, is that the question? Well, what happens, it depends on people. I adapt well to it. My primary capacity is that everything runs well without any problems. While we're in the cabin, we're tied into our sleeping slots. Some people do get more or less feel a certain disease, or not, rather unease at having the sunrise so many times. Other people not. I think it's rather restful to be totally totally weightless. It depends, of course, on the individual. There are people who close their windows at midnight and who'll be sleeping late until 15 minutes before the day starts on Earth. But we here on board, sometimes we see that there's a time lag which affects us in some ways. But tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, we're not quite sure. But there will be a moment to send some of us back to Earth. Well, undoubtedly, they're going to have to get up in the middle of the night, and we have to adapt to it. It's just something that we're accustomed to. Hello, Thomas. Tell me about Are there any sensations that feel different now from compared to your last mission? Well, the Ariane was a special moment for me. The station has changed, but it's more or less identical in the essentials. Although there are a number of new features, I think that really turns me on. I'd like to see novelty in my work. It's very special. Already been launched a number of times. Well, actually, over 100, I believe, the satellites. Everything works very smoothly. This is the third mission, and so there are 3 takeoffs and 1 landing at the moment, but we have 2 more planned for. This is something of a new thing. We feel comfortable on takeoff, no problem there. It's rather spacious. This is the modern vehicle. Well, it was a little bit complicated to find all of one's objects and things to work with because everything was somewhat hidden and integrated. It looks very nice, it's true, but it's new. It's like with a car. A car has to be attractive and pleasant to be in, but we're accustomed to things that are functional in the space station. And so we had to become accustomed a little bit, but this went through very easily. But it was about 26 hours, I think it took us to get to the station. Very comfortable time. It passes if it was a matter of minutes. Cotillac, there are a number of scientific experiments to be done aboard the ESS. Which ones fascinate you the most? Well, it's hard to choose because there are 232 experiments. There's American, the Russian, the Japanese. I have one that interests me a great deal, which makes me dream a little bit. It's the experiment with mini brains, which is quite an advance. We're going to be trying to work with aspects of the human brain, and we're going to be studying this, of course, with the scientific method aboard the space station, and we're going to see the results within the laboratories, and we're aware of the many applications that can ensue, such as the treatment of medical conditions, pathologies. And with these mini brains that we have on here, we'll be taking pictures, but it's all very interesting. We also have an educational experience, which will be for classes with a blob. It makes me think of a horror film, The Blob, the 1990s, 1980s science fiction horror films. This on the space station, I hope will be conducted very successfully. The last question. Hello, Thomas. Yeb Jean for space. Well, I was very happy to see you again. Following question. When you arrived on the ESS in 2016, you had a very good experience with Tiangong, and next June, during the tradition of inhabited flights, do we exchange between the ESS and the Chinese station so that you can put into practice your experience? No volume. Mr. Pesquet is speaking. His lips are moving.
Your microphone is switched off.
He's still speaking, no sound.
Copy your microphone. Please continue on Space to Ground 2.
The question. Aboard the space station and the camera, the microphone. Yes, the cooperation with Beijing. As a political question, of course, is being worked out. We're working a little bit with a green light pending. Well, this is... But we know that in real life it's possible, for which there will have to be an international will to do so. But I think that we have some very interesting projects of our own in Europe, Canada, as well as in China, Japan, the United States, and Russia. And there's some additional projects and experiments that have been added. We have to see how we coordinate and collaborate if that is the decision. If it is made, all we have to do is to learn to start to work together. Thank you very much, Thomas. It's been a very nice conversation with you. thank all of you, and welcome again to the space station. And I wish all of you a good day. And also the anniversary for Victor, who's coming here, perhaps. Oh, no, Victor will not appear.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from ESA. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
As you were signing off, I realized we're talking about somebody's Victor's birthday. And I suspect Victor's a Russian, but I'm not sure.